and fathers' rights in divorce, custody, and family law issues, with offices in Nutley and Montclair, New Jersey. Today is December 19, 2018. I am in New Jersey, as I mentioned, which is important to note because if you're watching this either at a later point in time or in a different state, the things that I'm saying in this tip may not be applicable or may have changed. Now, I try when I give these tips, at least my shorter daily tips, to keep them more basic and general. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to be applicable to my state and not yours, and it doesn't mean it's not going to change. The purpose of this tip, I do every day if I can, is to take one piece of information or issue that I find often confronts many of my clients or is a challenge for many clients, and I try to give you a simple piece of advice as to how to deal with it. Today I'm going to be talking about restraining orders, temporary restraining orders specifically. We are approaching the holiday season. Unfortunately, domestic violence incidences are significantly increased during these times, and it's important to know how to address it. What I'm going to be talking about today is what to do if you've filed a temporary restraining order that you believe you will not be successful in obtaining a final restraining order. And I don't mean one that you may have filed for no reason or tactically or in bad faith, whatever that may be. That's not what I'm talking to. Talking to the type of litigant who may have filed one. Maybe you overreacted to a bad situation, or you filed one but you've spoken with several lawyers and they indicate that you're not likely to be successful because of the nature of the action or the history of the party. Whatever the reason may be. I'm talking to people who have filed a temporary restraining order and don't believe they're going to be successful in obtaining the final one. You do have some options. First is you can dismiss it. And that's probably the first thing you want to consider if it's not a valid restraining order, if you're fairly certain you're going to lose the final restraining order. There are a lot of people who do file and dismiss. It's quite common. It's easy to do. In New Jersey, it's going to partly determine, not just procedurally, on whether or not you got it at night or on the weekends or during the day. If you obtained it at night or on the weekends, you probably got it through a municipal court, which means technically it's not going to be in the Superior Court until the day of the trial. If you filed it in Superior Court, they have the case every day from the day you filed it. That only matters if you're planning to dismiss it, because if you filed in the municipal court, meaning you went at night or on the weekends, you can't dismiss it until the day of the hearing, because the Superior Court, which is where it's going to be heard, won't actually have the file. So you have to wait until then. If you went to Superior Court and you talked to a family court judge, then you can go almost any day and ask to dismiss it. So both can be dismissed easily. It's quite routine, but depending on what court issued it, depends on how close to the hearing date you can dismiss it. Second option is a civil restraining order. That is an agreement between you and the other party to the restraining order that basically outlines the same kind of language, or can outline the same kind of language, the same kind of protections, and whatever else you may want to put in there about custody issues, housing issues, support issues. You can put anything that you want into a civil restraining order. The other person signs. That can be filed and entered with the family court if you have either a divorce case. It can be under that docket number. You can start a support case in New Jersey for child support or alimony if there's any kind of financial component. You may be able to start a family case just for the order itself, even without support components. I'm just not certain if they accept that or not. They may require some kind of financial component. But that then becomes a court order. So it starts as a civil order that you're agreeing to the language, but it becomes a court order, so it becomes enforceable. There's a significant difference between the enforceability between a final restraining order and the civil restraining order that I'm not going to go into in this video because it's beyond the scope. I probably did other videos on restraining orders and the domestic violence process that would have talked more in depth about civil restraining orders, so you can get the information from there. Third option you have is to go to trial anyway. You never know what a judge is going to decide. You never know what a judge is going to think is important, and you may not be capable of properly evaluating the successful and the merits of your case anyway. You could also be suffering from the cycle of domestic violence, and now you're feeling bad, and there could be many other things motivating you to dismiss when you might be entitled to a restraining order and you might actually need one. So you do have the option of going. Now you need to balance that against the fact that you're going to be taking a lot of time and resources from the court, from the other party, and from yourself. So you do need to carefully evaluate if you do think there's merit to your case. If there is, and you want to go forward, even if you're unsuccessful, you will at least have showed the other side that you take these matters seriously and that there are repercussions to their action. You will sort of train them that it can't be done again. If they do it again, that you'll take these same steps and maybe even be successful later. It will also but it will establish a history of domestic violence, even if you're unsuccessful, that may later become relevant in a subsequent restraining order hearing. So going to trial, even if you think you're going to lose, may be a good idea just to protect you now and in your future. I hope this information helps you. If it does, please give a like and a share to the video so that other people get to see it. If there's something that you want to see, you can email me at brad@micklenlawgroup.com or call me at 973-562-0100. Thank you.